Select Lions.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
And Phil.
What's up, guys? Dutchy talking in here. As always, God bless. Go first.
Let the celebration begin.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Eagles postgame show with Jack and Dalt. Proudly powered by TickPick, the official fan experience partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's take it to the show.
1-0, Friday night, fired up. You know the vibes. If you Eagles fans are with it, let us know immediately right now in the chat. But what's up, guys? Dalton and Jack here live from our studio in Newark, Delaware. And thank God it was a close one. It was an exciting one, but the Eagles got the job done in Brazil. Jack, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling fantastic. Great W. My bets got fucked. But it's okay. I'd rather take an Eagles W than lose than winning my bets. So good to be 1-0.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, man. I would always rather take my team winning than my bets not. But let's get right into it. We're going to not waste any time for you guys tonight. Jumping right into the elephant in the room. We'll get the negative part of the show out of the way in the beginning. But as a lot of you Eagles fans know, I mean, Jalen Hurts looked off tonight. 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. 2, you could really say 2 fumbles because 1 was Cam Jurgens' fault, 1 on the tush push. But, I mean, Jack, what do you think? I'll let you take it first. Was it Jalen Hurts? Was it being in Brazil? What do you think was up with him tonight?
It's interesting because that offensive line looked like it struggled. He was getting a lot of pressure in the pocket, which he wasn't used to last season. I think personally, it's just the first game jitters, being in a foreign country and playing your first game expected. He didn't play at all in the preseason, so I'm not too worried. I mean, he passed for 278 yards. He had an 80.3 completion rate. So, I mean, other than the fumble that he had, I really think he played decently well. And I'm excited to see what he can do with this offense with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I like your take. I mean, there were a couple mistakes that were had for sure. But overall, he looked good. I thought he was in control. He looked like there were a couple mistakes, but it looked off from miscommunications, things that could be fixed. So that's why, yeah, I agree with what you said. I'm not overall excited about it. The one thing I will say that I want to talk about is Jalen Hurts. You could tell, let Cam Jurgens hear it a little bit on the sideline there, which was nuts. So that was insane because as Eagles fans, I mean, you don't really see that side of Jalen Hurts. And I'll say this. I think a lot of fans at first would be like, ooh, Jalen Hurts, why are you getting upset? This, that. I like that Jalen Hurts is showing passion, that he's like, yo, you know what? Like, I want to speak up and let these guys know, like, hey, this is unacceptable. Like, this is not the way we do it around here. And I think that that's a good thing to do. Jalen Hurts was a little bit quieter. So, I mean, what was your whole take on him? I mean, he got in Cam Jurgens' face, not to where it was bad, but it was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, this is Jalen Hurts' team, so it's nice to see that he is taking that leadership role to a whole different level. We saw it kind of falter towards the end of the season last year, but I think be a little aggressive. He really wants this season to go as planned, and play a great game. And those little mistakes happen all the time, but I think it just shows you that he can be that leader that we need, that we clearly didn't have last year in the locker room. So it's nice to see, Jalen Hurts kind of take the responsibility and kind of tell Juergens, like, this is not okay. Like, we need to work on this. So it's good to see that kind of dog in him, that he's ready to lead this team to victory. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
And they got to have those things worked out. Like that shouldn't have happened. I don't care that you're in Brazil. I don't care that, there's jitters. And I think it was on the regular show this week that I said, I don't think both teams will score on the first drive. And it ended up being true. It's just usually true in NFL games or sports in general when you go abroad to Philly. Like it starts off slower. But oh my God, overall, it was a great game. Overall, Jalen Hurts played well, but there were things that it felt like should have been fixed in preseason, should have been fixed in camp, things like that. So it's kind of frustrating as a fan to see that.
And also, like, people are saying in comments, like, his mistakes, throwing hurt, like Jordan said, Hurts needs to work on decision making. We saw clearly that Jalen Hurts did not make the greatest decisions in some of the plays, throwing into double coverage, throwing into triple coverage. That's rookie stuff. He's not a rookie. He's, at this point, I would say, almost a veteran. So you can't be making up those costly plays, because luckily there's no interceptions. He had 2 interceptions tonight. But, in the second half, we saw him make a terrible pass to Devontae Smith. You can't be doing that. Granted, it's, maybe the jitters, like Dalton said, but that's not acceptable. And you got to make the right decisions, when you're trying to win a game or, take this team to the next level.
Yeah, it's very unacceptable. It's very frustrating. Shout out to Rich Bridge. Shout out to James Frattoni and the whole Eagles Mania group. But with that being said, that makes me want to get on a more positive note with this show and kind of kick it up a notch. To talk about somebody tonight. Sorry, I'm just adjusting this lighting so I don't look like Casper the fucking ghost out here. But I want to talk about Saquon Barkley, who came out and didn't just impress, didn't just wow us. He shocked us in his debut. 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. I mean, we were watching back there on the projector. I'll never forget that. What was that like, watching Saquon Barkley in the debut and doing it so well?
I mean, I think it was weird seeing Saquon Barkley in the Eagles threads. But like our one buddy Brandon said to us, like he pointed out, like, this is the second Eagles player in history, or in recent history, that on his Eagles debut scored 3 touchdowns. The last person to do that was Terrell Owens, who was probably one of the better receivers this Eagles team had in recent history. So putting his name against likes like Terrell Owens, that is huge. And having 3 touchdowns in his debut and what we can call his rival team for so many years, that tells you something. And I really think he has embodied the Philly lifestyle now. And it's great to see his energy and see what he can do. I mean, granted, he had a great year his rookie season on the Giants, but recently he hasn't been able to run behind the greatest line that we have. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see that. I was actually talking to our buddy Rap, and he's a Giants fan, so fuck you, Rap, by the way. But I asked him, I said, hey, like, when was the last time Saquon Barkley scored 3 touchdowns in a game? And his response was, I forget what date he said, but he said in 2018 was the last time he scored 3 touchdowns in one game. So that is telling you something, that I think this is the better fit for him. We saw Derrick Henry last night in the Ravens game. I don't think that's a good system for Derrick Henry to be in compared to what Saquon is in Philly.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley has a chance to be the best running back in the league this year. And that's not a hot take. That's not, something that's wild to say. I legitimately think that he's going to have either Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley will be the MVP of the league this year. That's not a hot take. That's not something wild. When you look at the Eagles on paper, they probably should have the most wins in the NFL. And typically the way it goes is the offensive leader of that team will typically win MVP or get some kind of, accommodation. Hopefully they do, because, oh my God, like Jack said, it was surreal at first. It was weird to see, but I was afraid of DeMarco Murray. That's the first thing that I think of, and I don't want it to end up like that. But at first, the first quarter, it's like, okay. And then he just really busted it open once the second quarter. You know what I mean? Like once he got into the game and he got settled in, he was like fine wine. The longer that the game went on, he got better. And that was nice to see because it's like, cool. Like he's finally behind an offensive line that he can utilize. He can be the caliber that he can be. And I just hope that that keeps up throughout the year. I mean, this is a great win tonight against the Packers. The Packers are a great team. 34-29. I mean, Green Bay is a solid team. They have a good defense too. I know Jack and I may disagree on that because he hates Jordan Love, but they're a good team. So,
I mean, and also we saw him knifing through the gaps and him getting out in open field and kind of put it on the afterburners. We haven't really seen that in recency. Like, I mean, it's great to see that he can still do that when we need him to. It's just a matter of if we can keep him healthy. That's the biggest thing. He has been plagued with injuries in the past couple seasons. So as long as he can stay healthy, I mean, hey, I'm excited to see what this guy can do. I was a little, leery kind of first game. I wasn't expecting much out of Saquon, but he really changed my mind, and I saw a lot of positivity coming out on tonight's game.
And I want to give a big shout out to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 26 in the comments on Instagram. Damn, that's a fucking username. But anyway, I want to say you're right. It is unfair for me to compare Barkley to Murray. I'm just saying I'm afraid that we're going to get a great caliber running back and not know how to utilize him. So far, so good. But you are 100% right that Chip did not know how to use him. What's going on, Dean, as well? Shout out to the Code Green Show. But yeah, man, I mean, he proved tonight that that's not going to happen is the point that I was trying to make. And he just looked like a natural out there. He looked legit. He looked like he was built to be in that offense. And I like this comment here too, real quick. I'll highlight. Barkley is definitely getting his CMC situation where he's getting out of a shitty team. And now he has a chance to compete for not only an MVP, but compete for a championship. And that's got to be really refreshing. So shout out to you, Hoodie Drac, with that comment. That's a great one too. I love that. But moving along to our next topic, the Eagles rookie, the biggest prodigy, Quinyon Mitchell, overall looked pretty sharp. There was one play that he got burnt on, but the rest of the game, I'd say, I mean, he looked good. What do you think?
Hey, he lived up to that number he wore tonight. 27, Malcolm Jenkins is an Eagle legend. And just other than getting burnt that one time, he was playing locks tonight on the receivers. And that's what we kind of expected out of this young kid. And I'm so glad that he played well tonight. I mean, it gives me some hope because we have been plagued within the last year or two at that quarterback position where we get burnt all the time. And seeing that young buck almost have a pick his rookie debut, that is huge. And this kid's going to be a great talent, and I can't wait to see what he can do for the Eagles defense for the next 4 years, because he's on a rookie contract. So, and not to mention, I mean, I don't know if we'll hit on it, but that defense was awesome. I mean, compared to last year, dude, this defense, night and day difference. I mean, we held them to 6 points in the first, 2-3 drives. And it was just great seeing what Vic Fangio kind of drew up for us, and holding them, to not that many points. I mean, granted, it was 29-34, but I mean, this defense, I think, looks a lot better. And I'm excited to see what this defense can do this year.
Will O'Connor, shout out to you, our guy. I don't know if you remember from New York. He's the guy that tailgates with us that always wears the 60 Ben Derrick jersey. And he came all the way from New York to hang out with us at Klondike Kate's. Mitchell has arrived. That's one of the best comments we've gotten all night too, because that sums it up. I mean, the dude has shown why we got him, why he arrived, why the Eagles said, okay, you know what? We want to spend all our capital on a cornerback and then another cornerback, which seems to be what they need. I mean, but overall, the dude looked like he had been playing football in the NFL for a year or two. I mean, he looked comfortable out there. He looked solid. He didn't seem to have a lot of jitters, which was great because, You expect that out of rookies a lot. So I was really impressed overall with Quinyon Mitchell. The defense overall, I was extremely impressed with too. I think Blankenship had a great pick. I won't lie. I'm going to say this. I would like to submit an apology form to Reed Blankenship because I've been a Blankenship hater, like Dennis. Shout out to Dennis, our guy on the fantasy show. But I have been a Blankenship hater, and Blankenship has pretty much denied all odds, practice squad, and always found a way to make a play. So at some reason, at some point, you got to salute the guy and tip your hat and say, okay, whatever my bias is, whatever I, am seeing, I got to put it aside because this guy is a good team football player. And that's the thing too. When Blankenship got the pick, it's not just Blankenship celebrating. It's the whole team celebrating with Reed. So there's something to be said for that too.
Yeah, I told you, Dennis. Told you. Blankenship is going to have a great season, and we saw that tonight. And I'm excited to see what this guy can do moving on in the season. I mean, great to have a pick that, turned into a touchdown from Saquon. That's what you need. You need these key plays to turn the tides, and I think Blankenship is that player. So I'm excited this season to see what he can do.
Yeah, I think.
And we gave him shit because he had a shitty defensive coordinator last season. The whole defense sucks. So having Vic Fangio, who's probably one of the most brilliant defensive-minded coaches out there, and seeing how this defense performed, I just think, we're in for a great year this year.
Yeah, I think that this is just the beginning of the Philadelphia Eagles this season. I don't think it's going to end up like last season. Knock on wood, mark my words. But I really feel like with all the pieces that they have, I mean, they might suck for 10 years after this, but God damn it, if they get a Super Bowl, I'll be fucking happy. Because, they just have so much capital invested in this team, so many pieces that if they don't come out with the Super Bowl, I really don't know what else they could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They pretty much exploited all resources and done everything that they can. So moving along now to our next topic, I did want to highlight some of the linebacker play tonight, which for Eagles fans has been a real sweet spot. It's been a real sore spot for us that,
It's not sweet. It's sour.
Sour spot. Thank you, Jack. Yeah. It sucked.
Achilles heel.
Ever since Jordan Hicks left, man. That's my guy. But overall tonight, I mean, we did not have an Achilles heel with linebacker play, which was great. Zack Baun looked really solid. You had been talking about him all year on the weekly podcast and a little bit throughout the preseason on the post games. And then Nakobe Dean, somebody who you and I know both have been waiting for to pop off, popped off tonight, which was awesome to see. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen much play from him because he's been injured. We put him in a few plays here since he's been in the league. And seeing Zack Baun, I mean, we've had issues at the linebacker position for quite some time, and seeing Zack Baun get in on those tackles, stopping the run, that is positive to see. And Nakobe Dean, I mean, I think as of all our Eagle fans, I think we can admit that one hit he had on Reed to break up the pass was amazing. We have not seen that. We've seen plays like that when he was at Georgia, but seeing him, put a body on him and cause a breakup is just what we thought of and what we expected him to do in the league. But granted, he hasn't really done much until this game. I mean, this is his make or break year. He has after this season, he has one season left on the rookie contract. So yeah, no, this is his year. I mean, he has to perform to the best possible way he can, and give us some hope. So it was great seeing him get that hit on Reed.
It was because Reed was the guy tonight who went off for them, right? Yeah, he looked insane. And there was one missed tackle that CJGJ had that we were all shaking our head. But Reed's a good player. I think you got to admit that. So if Nakobe Dean blew him up like that, and what I liked was it was the instinct. It was that he knew before the snap what he was doing. And you could feel it. You could see it. Like he was sure of his decision and he was decisive and he went through with it. And that's what you want to see in a middle linebacker. You're not going to win them all, but I think that you're going to win the majority of them by doing that. So I was really happy to see that and proud. But I do want to react to this comment too. Another comment by our guy, Hoodie Drac. Dude, if you haven't subscribed yet, you got to subscribe because you are a great commenter. But he's saying, I wish Josh Huff had a better debut. He had some tough battles on the edge. He also was slipping. How were you feeling about Huff's debut?
He had a few good tackles, but I mean, this is a new system for him. Not to bitch about it, but that field was horrible. People were slipping every which way. So I mean, we'll see, his debut at the link next week to see what he can do. I mean, I think, we saw him in the preseason have some great plays. So I think we're excited to see, what he can do. I'm not too worried about this debut. Every debut doesn't go well for everyone. So, but I'm excited to see, when he's in link, when we have a good field, what he can do.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum it up. You just had a great quote right there, which is not every debut can go well for everyone. You hope for the best, but not everybody's Saquon Barkley. And I mean that as a compliment to both guys. But I think once we get back in Philadelphia next week, once these guys get settled, they're going to be sleeping in their home bed. They're going to be at their home field. I think we'll see a way higher comfort level with a lot of these Eagles. And also they'll be able to play in the cleats that they know, things like that. So they should bounce back, I think, a lot of these players, to not say late bloomers, but maybe game 2. And we all know Kirk Cousins fucking sucks on prime time. So if you're with that, drop a like, drop a heart, drop a subscription or anything, because we all know he's about to fuck the shit out of it on Monday Night Football. And I am here for it. I am here for it. Our boy Josh hanging out there. What's up, Josh? What's the question?
It's also a mini bye because we played Friday. We don't play till Monday.
It's a mini bye, Josh just said, because we played Friday. We also don't play it on Monday. So we also do have, 9 days? Is that almost? Yeah, 9 days off. So they're going to be really refreshed, recharged. Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens will be getting ice cream by that point. All will be well. So we'll be good. Mistakes happen, but they got the win, and that's what really matters. And also I want to talk about A.J. Brown, man. A lot of people were wondering if he was going to get it done tonight. I was ironing so that we could look good for you guys tonight. That's how much we love you guys. That's another reason. Drop his fucking subscription. But ironing on Jack's patch on his golf shirt. And as I'm sitting there, I hear A.J. Brown. And we run into the living room and we see A.J. Brown taking off like a nuclear missile at the speed of fucking light. Some supersonic shit. And it's like, what can this guy not do? I mean, you see how Jalen Hurts connects with him, and it's like, cool. Just put the ball in his hands, and he's going to go off. So for me, A.J. Brown has been everything that and some. And I'll stand on this take to this day that he is better than Terrell Owens. I think he's the best wide receiver that the Eagles have ever had. I'm just waiting for everybody else to admit it. I don't know if Jack Thornton will ever admit it, but man, he is definitely the best wide receiver we've had in a long time since Terrell Owens. I think nobody else would argue. But golly, it's like having Julio Jones in his prime. I mean, the dude is a freak of nature. I mean, what's been your reactions to this dude having him on our team?
This is one of the best receiving corps we've had. I wish we saw more out of Jahan Dotson, but he was only targeted twice. But A.J. Brown had 5 receptions for 119 yards. And averaged around 24 yards per catch. So that just in itself is a great stat to have. And I mean, he wasn't really doing much in the first half. But yeah, open drive after the kickoff in the second half. I mean, that is just awesome to see A.J. Brown. I mean, I didn't expect anything less. He is a freak of nature. And I really do, like to see what this guy can do. And it's great to have only 5 receptions for 119 yards. So that is a crazy stat. So I'm excited this season. I think he's going to have another breakout season this year. And I mean, he's just a good dude. I mean, his struggle that he was pretty open about his mental health. Mentioned that he was not going to be here about 4 years ago. He was thinking about, not being here. So just him going through his mental health situation and kind of bouncing back is great to see somebody, do. So I'm just excited to see what this guy can do. And it's great to see what, have this guy on our receiving core.
Yeah, I mean, he's been everything that and a blessing for the Eagles. This comment I want to respond to real quick, the both of us. I'll let you take it first. Is A.J. Brown better than CeeDee Lamb?
See, they're two different receivers. CeeDee Lamb is a more...
Just answer it. If you had to say overall, just don't overthink it.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Yeah, no. I would not think so. I know so.
Yeah.
He is.
But I get your point.
But again, A.J. Brown's more that physical receiver, whereas CeeDee Lamb is that kind of deep threat. So it's kind of...
I would say, too, like if you're just ranking NFL wide receivers, A.J. Brown should clear CeeDee Lamb on every ranking. A.J. Brown is the top 4, if not top 3, undoubtedly, wide receiver in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. Right now, you should say. Recency bias, that. I know it's only game 1, but I mean, he looked really good. And Cody Dax saying he forgot Dotson was on the team. Yeah, I'm taking AJ over CD. More versatile, like Hoodie also said. Man, this guy's a great commenter, like I said, but he can just do more things. And if I was an NFL coach for that reason, I'd rather have the guy that can get the 50-50 ball too. So it's nice to see. I mean, everybody I feel like ate tonight on the Eagles.
Yeah,
Everybody got some.
Everyone had a reception other than John Dotson on the Eagles offense. Saquon Barkley had that reception touchdown. That was great. We had Devonta Smith kind of, late bloomer tonight, and then A.J. Brown. So, I mean, and Dallas Goedert. He had 33 yards. I mean, hey, that's all you really need as a tight end. So, it was nice that, I don't think Jaylen Herz has had this share of wealth, exactly like last season. So him able to spread the ball to all the receivers that he has is just something that can kind of improve his game and make this team a lot better. No one's going to bitch about not receiving the ball.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, nobody's going to bitch about not receiving it because everybody seems to say in these interviews, in these post games, in anything, I just care about doing what the team needs me to do, which is great because that's what winning teams have. That's when the New England Patriots were their dynasty and this and that. They had all that. So hopefully the Philadelphia Eagles can keep that trend up. But man, Saquon Barkley really leading the charge tonight for the Brazil game. As you guys can see, a little bit festive here. We had the balloons in the background, had a little bit of a party tonight, but that's all we got. I want to give a quick shout out to my family and my friends for coming over tonight. Number one, my parents and my sister really for cooking 48 freaking sliders that were delicious, which I'll probably be eating one of them at 3:00 in the morning tonight. They were really good. Yeah, they're fire. Josh is saying, yeah, they were fire, Maddie. So shout out to you for that. And shout out to my friends all for coming over, helping set this up. Great night. Thank God the Eagles fucking got it done because it would be a long plane ride home. And I also want to say, not to be controversial, but I'll say this. They really should have let Philly sports guy into the stadium with his face paint because Jordan Spector, shout out to Spector Art. You guys can see I have a piece of his work up there. Love that dude too. He's an amazing artist, an amazing person too. They didn't let Philly sports guy in with that paint job. And that's just insane to me. That's sports. I can't believe that in Brazil, there's some kind of a law against it or something. I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I just want to say that's wild. That's ridiculous. PSG does so much good. So that was my only, upsetting part of the night. Other than that, the night as a whole was great. So I can't be more appreciative. But that's all we got. I don't know if you have anything else other than that.
It's just great seeing one of our division rivals, players on our team, and seeing those fans bitch about it. I'm not gonna like Maddie's +1. He was like, Teddy's a Giants fan. And he's like, wow, it really hurt when Saquon got that touchdown, the first touchdown, and same with our buddy Rapp. So that just makes me in itself a lot happy that he's on this team and I can hear these Giants fans bitch. Without further ado, hey, Josh, hey, buddy, it's not an intro. It's an outro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
This is for you.
Hey, what's up, 302 Birds? I'm Jack.
All roads lead through the playoffs and Phil.